right, you guys. So the vibe in this video was different. Okay, I'm in a very meditative state. All right, I was meditating and I was actually doing a personal reading on myself. But I just felt so called to share this powerful message that came through with, my viewers, whoever feels called to watch this video, because, I just literally got tuned in and I was like, yo, there's people that can definitely benefit from hearing this message. So, this really isn't going to resonate with all of my viewers, but of course, I definitely feel like if you clicked on this video, there's definitely going to be some medicine and some messages here for you. Okay, so I have some nice, yummy raspberry leaf tea. I'm sipping on that today. I also got some fresh water over there. I'm chilling by some smoky quartz. All right, I'm vibing right now. I'm on a vibe and I'm just chillaxing. So I want to make this, as comfortable for you guys as possible. All right. So once again, I'm going to say this. I'm in a very meditative state. All right. So don't come in the comments saying that I seem dry. I've just been in another dimension. Okay. And I want to bring this reading to you guys. All right. So yeah, if you just want to get comfortable, go to a space where you're going to be unbothered, turn the notifications off, all of that. And let's share space. Let's go. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, this reading, these cards and the messages that I'm going to be, communicating with you watching this today, this was all a personal reading. You know what I'm saying? If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, be sure to follow Homegirl on both of her pages, okay? You know the vibes. But, on my Instagram, okay, I posted a story of a very spiritual, eye-opening experience, aka slash, a paranormal experience that happened with this reading. So, if you follow my Instagram, you'll be able to see that, okay? But I don't want to make this video too long. So basically, yeah, the moon shifted into Pisces earlier today, and, I just felt this call to go in my spiritual room, my creative room, where we're at right now. I felt like just so called to come in here and do a reading for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. I said, Spirit, come communicate with me. Let me know. All right. What do I need to focus on? All right. So, this is going to be a vulnerable AF. This is going to take a lot of vulnerability out of me to talk about these things, because I really want to tell you what popped up for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that, there's a lot of people that are currently dealing with this, possibly, or maybe this runs in your family, or whatever the case scenario is. All right. So let's go. So the cards that came through. All right, we have Kodalit. Oh, wait, what is this? I'm sorry. Kotlaku. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this particular goddess name correctly, but this is the card that talks about grief. Okay, so I was like, okay, grief. I get it. Bless. We also have Isis that showed up in my reading, our reading, okay? And this is the card that says mothering. All right. And we have Sedna, the goddess of victim, the victim archetype. She comes to you when you've been walking with that particular archetype for a while, okay? So at this point, seeing all of the goddesses that presented themselves to share space with me, I'm like, okay, I get it. I kind of see what my message is, I get it, all right? And then the final goddess that presented herself, as of, the medicine for me is Lilith. Okay. And her medicine is power. So I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. All right. And so I'm kind of my Capricorn moon is kind of like, ooh, vulnerability. What the freak? But it's okay. All right. Victim. And so the victim archetype, it's basically the energy of, somebody that's been hurt. Whether we've been lied to, we've been neglected, we've been abused, we've been betrayed. Okay. Whatever the case scenario is, whatever heaviness or hardships, that we go through on our journey, it can either make us or it can either break us. And a lot of the time, we get so hurt. Okay. And it's just like we're kind of just shocked that that was once our reality, or that somebody that we trusted or somebody that we should have been able to trust, just did that to us or didn't do that to us, or whatever the case scenario may be. And so, obviously, this message for me and for whoever this resonates with. Wow, this viewfinder is going crazy. The moon's in Pisces, some spiritual stuff is happening, okay? But obviously my spirit guides were presenting that I've been in the victim mentality due to holding on to a lot of grief, holding on to a lot of unexpressed emotions, or, not even going down the rabbit hole of I am the way I am because it's just, oh, I'm that way. I'll never change. Oh, this is just who I am. When in fact, at some point, at one point in all of our lives, we're a pure, innocent, untainted soul. And so, when are you a pure, untainted, innocent soul? When you're a child. Okay. And so all children, all humans were born in that energy. Okay. And depending on how the child is brought up, how they're cared for, how they're spoken to, how they're treated, okay? Depending on those things and even more things is, how the child will then grow to perceive their adult years, or, how the child is treated, as a child by their parent. It's going to be reflected in their adult years as to how they are in relationships. Okay. And it's no surprise that this particular message is coming through while Venus is now in shadow period. Venus is the planet all about love, okay? How we give love and how we receive love. And so this message for me, just feeling the energies of the cards is kind of just like, okay, the reason that I have a particular, negative relationship with love is because at a child at some point I never received it, or I felt as though I never received it. Okay. And, diving deeper, the reason why I came to that conclusion is of course, when you do a reading for yourself, you trust what pops up. And also, the goddess Isis has, presented herself in this spread. And, Isis, this card in this particular deck is all about mothering. And so the medicine of this card is, how are you mothering yourself? Have you been mothering have you been mothering everybody else? Mending everybody else's wounds while simply throwing a used band-aid over your own wounds in hopes that it'll one day just disappear while you're helping everybody else heal and recover from their wounds. Okay. And so this is vulnerability at its finest. Okay. I'm diving deep here. And so, with that being said, with the medicine of this card, I'm like, okay, obviously, I have blockages emotionally. I mean, think about it. For somebody to be particularly born with the Capricorn moon placement, okay, victim. There we go. I'm falling into the archetype. I'm using that as a crutch. But when you finally take the time to dive deep and say, why am I the way that I am? That's the first step. And that's what Venus in retrograde is all about, helping us dive deep and see why we are the way that we are, why we love the way that we love, why we accept love or don't accept love the way that we do. All right, you see what's going on here? And so when I finally, dove down that rabbit hole, I'm like, okay, and a lot of times I tried to act as if, oh, my childhood was fine. It's okay. Everything was good. Everything was okay, because I don't want to put the blame on somebody, or I don't want to make somebody feel bad. When in reality, I even journaled about it, just really reflecting to certain memories that I had as a child. There was always this, particular energy that I had, with my mother, of, kind of not being vulnerable, or just, automatically assuming it's not okay. It's not okay to share my feelings. Oh, if I share my feelings, I don't want to hear about that. There's bigger things to worry about. Oh, I'm stressed out. Oh, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about that. You know what I'm saying? And, I love my mother to death. I do. But the reason why I'm being so vulnerable and I'm sharing this message is because, in our childhood years, we don't really see any flaws. We don't see any red flags. We think that that's just normal because that's all we know. Okay. We think that that's normal. We think that how we're treated is normal. We think that, the things that we see every day growing up is normal. But when you grow up and you start to experience the world and, see how other families interact and see other people's relationships with their parents, and we see it, we're kind of like, wait a second, my childhood wasn't like that. My relationship with my mother was never like that. My relationship with my father wasn't like that. And so then, as an adult, you're left with this grief, this void. And in relationships, and this is just my particular experience, with constantly being shut out emotionally as a child, having to go to my room and just figure it out as a child, feeling as if I did open up, if I did say how I was feeling, it would be brushed off or I would get in trouble for it. Okay. So then as a child, I began keeping everything in secret. And I, then eventually grew to have the title sneaky. You're sneaky. You're so sneaky. But in reality, as a child, I just thought, okay, well, I'm bad. I'm sneaky. But in your adult years, you look at it, that child, began to be sneaky, and do things more independently without telling people because they subconsciously grew into this fear of doing things out in the open, being seen, because if you were to be seen, there would be yelling. There would be, just stress triggered. Okay. Wow. I don't know if I'm going to post this. But what I'm getting at with this reading is, a lot of times we just grow up and we have these issues in relationships where we feel unlovable, or we don't know how to accept love because it's foreign. And like I was saying, and then in our adult years, we don't know how to accept real love. When people are offering us real love and support, we question it. We question their motives. We fully don't know if we can open up. And that person could be the most genuine, caring person that wants to do nothing but shower you with love and affection. But since subconsciously we walk around with the grief of, just being afraid to love or being afraid to feel love because we never really felt what it felt like before. And so that can cause a lot of issues in your adult year relationships. And with this kind of situation, there's only two roads that you can go, is what Spirit is communicating. There's the road of living the rest of your life in victim. I don't trust people because of my childhood. I don't trust people because of what I've been through. I don't know what you're really here for. I'm not going to trust you. I'm like this because of my past. I'm like this because they hurt me. I'm like this because they were never there for me. you could perpetuate the victim energy. And by doing so, not only will you push people away, but you'll always have that void. You'll always be keeping yourself in that box. You'll always be walking around with that heaviness, that grief, that sadness. Because truthfully, when you are walking in that victim energy, you haven't fully forgave the person, the people, and the situation that were involved. Okay. And the second way that it can go, dealing with that situation and growing up in that situation, is you can take your power back and you can mother yourself. You can be there for yourself and you can heal yourself. Okay? Oh, it's getting real. Woo chile. But the second way that it could go is you can realize, hey, I don't deserve this. Hey, I want to be happy. I want to accept love. I deserve to accept love. Okay? I deserve to have somebody that truly loves me. Okay? I deserve to have somebody that's, really gonna want to be there for me and listen to my problems, my struggles, my worries, even if it's not even a real problem. I deserve that. All right? So, with this energy of Isis mothering yourself, by taking the time to sit with yourself and asking, here we go, look, I have some questions that I wrote down, I was asking myself, okay? Ask yourself some of these questions. Where am I falling into the victim archetype? Where am I falling into the victim archetype from built up grief? What grief am I currently holding from my way of being mothered as a child? How does the way that you were cared for as a child resemble the way you parent yourself in your adult years? And that one hit me hard. And don't get me wrong, if any of my family is watching this, I love my family. I love my brothers, my sisters, my mother, everybody. But at some point we got to be honest. And yes, financially, all of my needs were met. Okay. They did the best that they could, but that hit hard because how you mother yourself is self-care, self-love. I'm just being so vulnerable, but I feel like this vulnerability is needed to release the grief, to step out of the victim, to take my power back, to mother myself. Because how can you truly, heal from a wound that you don't know where it's located? Imagine this. You fall off a cliff, you survive, and you're in aching, excruciating pain. But you can't find the wound. So you spend the rest of your life aching and agonizing pain because you don't know where the wound's at. But when you take the time to dive deep and say, I'm tired of feeling like this. I don't want to feel like this. You locate the wound, you honor it, you hold space for it, and you release it. It's medicine. It's healing. And so all my life, I thought that I had daddy issues. My father was non-existent. He wasn't in the picture. Didn't want to be in the picture till, my childhood was freaking over. You know what I'm saying? Which bless. Everything happens for a reason. But, having a single mother, always working to support all of her kids. And, imagine a single mother, 4 kids, barely making enough. That stress of the world is going to get to the mother. And if the mother doesn't know how to properly handle her emotions or express her emotions or communicate her emotions, the children feel the stress of the world that has been put on the mother. And as children, we think it's normal. We love our parents anyways. And so in our adult years, we don't want to blame them. But at some point, you gotta call it like it is. Call it how you see it. Honor it, forgive it, release it, heal from it. So, and check this out. Back of the deck energy, awakening. So, one second. You guys, this video took a lot of vulnerability, and this is medicine for me. So I'm going to post this, even if my ego tells me not to. All right? Not to get, oh, I'm so sorry, I would have never thought it. I don't want to hear that. I'm posting this simply for the reason that there are people that need this message. We heal together, okay? So this is not for sympathy. This is not, just for attention, because me personally, I want to keep this to myself, but spirit and my higher self is telling me that this is medicine for me and my soul. This is growth, the vulnerability, and it's also gonna help other people just as much as it's gonna help me. So I'm sorry if you couldn't really understand what I was saying, because a lot of tears were coming up, but hey, this is a part of the process. This is healing. So, and as I'm filming this, Venus is in her shadow period, and sometimes it has to get worse before it can get better. Sometimes you have to get real deep in the depths in your healing. Dive deep, track back a little bit, see where the pain all started to fully heal and recover. Okay, so I hope you guys vibe with me. Let me know if you related to this, if you needed to hear this. That would make me very happy. You know what I'm saying? Let me know how this made you feel. Let me know what you got from this. Perhaps maybe you can share this with somebody that needs to hear this message. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Once again, thank you for sharing space with me. I hope all is well. And we're in this together, family. I'm out of here.